Welcome back to On The Sidelines and the first episode of our latest series, Starting from Scratch. In this series, we'll be creating our own made-up expansion teams for various leagues, as you'll see in a minute, starting today with Major League Baseball. My name is Benedict Rhodes, and joining me of course, is Matthew Bruni. How are you, Matthew?
I'm doing good, Ben. How about you?
I'm fine, thank you. And we also have a special guest today, Mr. Nicholas Barnsdale. How are you, Nick?
Oh, I'm doing great, Ben. I'm glad to be on the show, and I hope I can beat you guys with a fantastic team.
I don't know about that, but we'll have to wait and see, I guess. It's a little bit of how this video is going to work. We have the only thing we know from this expansion idea that we have here is we know which cities we've all chosen, just so that we didn't overlap at all. But other than that, we pretty much know nothing about each other's teams. So just to sort of tell you who's got who, I've taken Portland, Oregon. Nick's taken Santo Domingo, Dominican Republic, for whatever reason, and Matthew's taken Las Vegas, Nevada. So we're gonna start off with 5-minute proposals. You have a maximum of 5 minutes to sort of talk about pretty much everything, all the basic details of your team, like city, logo, name of your team, colors, mascot, etc. So we'll start with you, Nick. Let me get my timer first.
Oh, great. Extra pressure, just what I need.
Oh, yeah. So yeah, you have a maximum of 5 minutes, starting pretty much whenever you start talking.
All right. As soon as Ben told me I could pick anywhere in North America, I knew right away the gears started turning. I knew I was going to exploit the rules somehow. So I said, what is one of the biggest baseball playing countries in the world? So I said, the Dominican Republic. Actually, first I said Cuba, but I ran into the tiny microscopic problem that they're a communist nation, don't allow professionalism. So I went next door. Oh, you didn't start yet? Okay,
No.
cool. I went next door to the Dominican Republic, and if you've never seen a Dominican Republic game, that's fine because I haven't either. But I heard the crowds are enormous. They love their baseball. So I thought, hey, let's make the World Series truly a World Series. So we are going to Santo Domingo in the Dominican Republic, and we are going to be called the Santo Domingo Independientes. And just a little backstory behind the name, okay? The Dominican Republic's been fighting for their independence for pretty much their whole lifetime as a country. The first one, in their first revolution, they fought off Haiti, and they apparently, in one of the battles, won with 3 casualties, whereas Haiti had about 3,000. So that's kind of the success I want to see on the field. 3,000 to 3 sounds like a pretty good score. Our mascot now is going to be based off of the father of Dominican baseball, Pedro Maratini. And this guy brought the professional game to Santo Domingo. So we're going to kind of make a mascot based off his likeness. Now, obviously, it's not going to be realistic because that would be kind of creepy, but it's just going to be kind of like a baseball guy, but we're going to have his name on the back of the jersey, and we're going to have a plaque to him somewhere in the park. And I think that's a cool piece of little lore that we can include. Now, I have a few ideas for marketing, but I'll save them for later. But I really don't think it's going to be a problem getting people in the stands because, I watched a video on the Dominican Republic in baseball, and wow, it's just the atmosphere is crazy. Even if there isn't a lot of people there, the atmosphere is crazy. But it's just a religion apparently in Santo Domingo. So I think if we put an MLB team there, that's all we need to do. Build it and they will come, as some actor said in the Field of Dreams. I just got to check my notes, see if I've missed anything. Of course, we're going to be wearing the red, white, and royal blue of the Dominican Republic. And that's all I need because my proposal was so amazing that I don't need any more time.
Still have about 2 minutes left if you want to get into anything like logos or anything like that.
That's a good point. I definitely thought of a logo. It's just going to be based on the Dominican Republic. I want it to be kind of like how the Blue Jays are Canada's team. They are now that the Expos are no longer. I want it to be the Dominicans team, something the fans can all rally behind. So I'm going to incorporate that into the logo. we'll probably have like a rifle or something like that in homage to the military might of the Dominican Republic. And that's all I've got.
Okay, time is now up
Nice.
there. 3 minutes 30 seconds, pretty efficient there. Matthew, do you need an initial reaction to all that?
Yeah, well, that's definitely going out of North America, but I think that was definitely a great choice.
The
for,
Dominican Republic is North America. That's North
It
America.
is in North
sorry,
America.
It's definitely
sorry.
it's just not North America.
Yeah, yeah. Sorry, my bad. But yeah, I think that was definitely a great city choice. But yeah, I don't think I have anything to add. Do you have anything, Ben?
Well, my thing here is I think Dominican Republic is maybe on MLB's radar, but I don't think it's going to be expanded to before Mexico. For example, I think Mexico City is more likely to get a team, or and this is obviously theoretical video, and not necessarily doesn't necessarily have to be realistic. But yeah, I don't know. I think there's also a lot of logistical worries there, like how you're going to get a team. Let's say you're playing in Santo Domingo on a Friday or on a Thursday, and then you got to play in Toronto on a Friday. Like I think that would have to be quite difficult.
Don't worry, we'll get to that in good time, Benjamin.
Okay.
Benedict.
Well-
So, unless there's some kind of realignment division thing here, that if you've gone that way, I won't spoil it, but can circle back to that later. So I don't know. I don't hate the idea. Also, a rifle on the logo. I don't know if that's something MLB would allow. But other than that, I like the idea. It's not too bad.
All right, cool.
Anything
Well,
else to add? Go ahead,
Oh,
man.
sorry. I just want to add, like, yeah, like definitely. I think when we think about like baseball and like the Caribbean or like Santa Dominico, I think. Sorry,
Santo
yeah,
Domingo.
Domingo. Sorry, not Dominico. I think like the baseball is definitely big in like that part of the country, and like of course like the U.S. would be the first country to think about, and then that like around the Caribbean is a great place to think about.
Yeah, I like your idea about the World Series and making it truly like a World Series as opposed to 29
right.
teams in America and one in Canada. But it's about as far world as you get. So
Yeah.
I did quite like that idea.
Thank you very much.
Just now move on to Matthew. I guess you're up next, Matthew.
Okay, so
Wait, hold on. The time will
sorry.
start. Time will start whenever you start talking. After I finish talking right now.
Okay, so as you guys know, or the audience doesn't know yet, but the city I chose was Las Vegas. Initially, when I thought about a city to choose for this MLB expansion, I sort of looked at Las Vegas and thought about, it's an entertainment city. Like they usually mostly rely on like visitors. So I think that attracting like outsiders from other parts of the U.S. around the world, like why not have a baseball team? I think it would be a great initiative for the MLB to look at. And also, like I mentioned, Vegas relies a lot on travelers. Also, Vegas already has like a big sports, like a lot of sports lovers. I mean, they already have the Vegas Golden Knights, who have already in their third season made the playoffs all 3 times, and of course have had an appearance in the Stanley Cup Final. So we can't forget about that, of course. And I think also even the Vegas Raiders, I should mention, that would be coming in September, depending on, of course, with the pandemic and seeing how that would act out. But yeah, I think that there's already a big sports realm in the city of Vegas, so I think adding an MLB team would be great for the city. In regards to a team, I'm sort of thinking like, of course, Vegas is known for their casinos, as we all know. So I was thinking of going with the team name Las Vegas Diamonds as one of the 4 symbols on the card. Because also I was thinking about also like card numbers like aces or numbers like that, for example. But I kind of just want to go based off of a card symbol, basically. And in regards to the stadium, like getting fans to the stadium, like how you have your regular drivers who drive to the game, or those who take public transit, like just regular people. But I thought about, since that some people might not have, like some people that travel into Vegas or fly into Vegas may not like rent a car, for example, or something, and stay on a hotel on the strip of Vegas. I thought about having shuttle buses that operate from each hotel in the on the Las Vegas Strip, like of course the main ones, to get fans to the stadium, like around maybe 2 hours before games and 2 hours after games as an idea. Because of course, there's those who like to drink too. So I don't think anybody would like to drive after a game, after watching baseball. But yeah, I think also even having promotional games like the regular bobblehead games, hats, T-shirt giveaways is also something that I would consider. But yeah, I don't think I missed anything. But yeah, that's what I have.
You have about 2 minutes left if you want to get into like a logo and a mascot as well. If you want to get into those kind of things.
Well, in regards to a logo, I mean, it simply would just be like a diamond, like the shape of a diamond. And I think also I forgot to mention the stadium, like maybe like seat colors.
Keep the stadium till the next section.
Oh, okay, sorry. So like, yeah, I was just thinking like of a simple diamond, like maybe like shaping in like into a casino style, like maybe the background of Las Vegas and inside the diamond or something like that. That was some design I was considering. And for the mascot, I mean, like I haven't, to be honest, like the mascot was really still on the radar for me, but yeah, for a mascot, I don't really have one at the moment for at least this segment, but yeah, that's all I have, I guess.
Cool. Any initial reaction to all that, Nick?
All right. I thought the idea was good. I think people could go to Las Vegas and enjoy a ball game if they have 2 hours to burn or 3 hours to burn. But another initial reaction I have is summer ball in Las Vegas. That your players will collapse by the fifth inning. So I hope you have a good idea for a nice indoor stadium.
Well, I mean, yeah, it would have to be an indoor stadium because I know, of course, the Arizona Diamondbacks are another hot state in the U.S. So, and of course, no, Arizona Diamondbacks.
Well, I understand Texas as well is a little hot
and
state.
Texas and Florida
that
too.
That would be the main worry, I don't think, for me.
Yeah, well, I think Nick's right though. I did forget to mention that I would have an indoor stadium. Of course, it would have to be air conditioned because you don't want.
No kidding.
Yeah,
we'll get to stadiums.
Okay, sorry.
Anything else, Nick?
No, I thought the idea was pretty good. Although I do suspect there would be slight problems with fan loyalty.
Yeah, I think you're going to be relying a lot on tourists and a lot of people coming into Vegas. I think, like you mentioned, that's one thing. So I think that might be an issue, especially when there probably isn't enough people in Vegas to fill out a stadium every week. But I think you might be a bit too reliant on tourists. So when you get to like April, if people don't want to go when it's early in the season, but they might wait till the summer, might have trouble with crowds at early parts of the season. But overall, that was a pretty solid pitch, I think.
Well, yeah, I was just going to add because, like, looking at the Vegas Golden Knights, I mean, NHL is not the biggest. I wouldn't consider the NHL the biggest league in a desert state. And you could see like in their home games, especially like watching the Stanley Cup final 2 years ago and seeing all the Washington Capitals fans in the stands. Like, I think that, I mean, although I do agree that I think it would have to be heavily based on tourism, I do think that there would still be some residents that would still consider like watching MLB or attending MLB games.
Fair enough.
Any last thoughts, Nick, before I go?
No, I'm excited for yours, Ben.
I bet you are. Hey, one of you guys want to time it as well? I mean, I'll time it, but one of you needs to cut me off at some point if I get to that long.
Sure, I got it.
Got it? Okay. Tell me when you're ready.
Whenever you start.
Cool. Okay, so I think that one of the most logical cities for an MLB expansion team is, of course, Portland, Oregon. Portland is known as the City of Roses. I very nearly went with the name Portland Roses, but instead I'm going to go with a name deeply rooted in the history of Portland baseball, which is the Portland Beavers. There have been many Portland Beavers teams over the last century or so. There's one from 1903 to 1918, and then 1918 to 1972. There's a second team from 1978 to 1993, and a third Portland Beavers team from 2001 to 2010. While there have been other minor league teams in Portland and the surrounding areas, the Beavers are the team who had the biggest impact on baseball in the region. and the Beavers name is also used by Oregon State's NCAA team, who also go with Oregon State Beavers. I think it's the logical city for an MLB expansion team for a number of reasons. One of them, it's one of the largest markets in the United States without an MLB team, and only has one team in the Big Four professional leagues, which is the NBA's Portland Trail Blazers. They do have other teams in other top leagues like the MLS and NWSL, but Portland is due for another Big Four team, and MLB should be the league that takes them. The Beavers would honor the history of the previous Beavers teams by using logos and uniforms like some of those worn over the years. For example, the logo would be similar to that of the most recent Beavers team, with a few adjustments. It would be a blue circular logo with the team name written in red around a picture of a beaver in the middle, a bit like the current Toronto Blue Jays logo. The beaver in the middle, unlike the most recent Beavers logo, wouldn't be swinging a bat, but would instead be chewing on a log, referencing the logging industry that the region is known for. In the background would also be a silhouette of the historic Hawthorne Bridge, which is, you can see, is right behind me here. Where's my thing? Oh, I lost my track here. That's not good. Okay, the home jersey would be white with blue pinstripes and the word Portland across the chest. The away jersey would be solid gray with the word Beavers across the chest. And the alternate uniform would be blue and red with an alternate logo, which would be the letters PDX, referencing the city's airport code, and a rose, referencing the city's nickname, the City of Roses. And, of course, our mascots would be beavers, one male and one female, as you do. The beavers would be cute and fluffy, everything you want in a mascot, and would wear the team's home and alternate uniforms. The male beaver would be called bucker, which, of course, is a logging term for someone who saws trees into logs. And the female one, which would be called brandy, which I don't need to tell you guys this because I know how much you guys like logging, but it would be called brandy, which is obviously short for branding, which is the process of marking timber with a symbol or initial to track what wood belongs to each person. Again, I don't need to tell you guys that. And that's the end of my 5-minute proposal. What do you guys think?
Well, Nick, you start.
First of all, Ben, you got 2 minutes to spare if you want to say anything else.
I think I got everything covered. I'm pretty confident with what I got there.
All right, so my first reaction is this. So how many Portland Beavers teams have there been?
Three different sort of incarnations.
So there's been 3 Portland Beavers, and they all failed.
Not necessarily.
So now you're going to bring another Portland Beavers.
I wouldn't say that they failed. The last one didn't have a stadium, so they were sold. But now I'm making a new stadium, as we'll get to in a minute.
Ah, all right. Well, okay. A stadium is a good place to start for an MLB team.
That is not a bad place to start, certainly.
I like the incorporation of logging.
Yeah.
That's something that'll get the kids to the stadium. Kids are known for their love of logging,
especially in Oregon.
Yeah.
Shout out to Bucker and Brandy.
But that was a good pitch. Unlike what your hurlers will be throwing.
Wow. Low blows.
Yeah.
Any other reaction, Matthew?
Well, I mean, yeah, like you said, there's been 3 previous Beavers teams, which is, I mean, like Nick said, like it's kind of makes me think like how did those teams do? But you've mentioned like
this is gonna be the good one.
the fourth time's the charm,
fourth
right?
Time's the charm, exactly.
Fourth time's the charm.
Lucky number 4.
I gotta look these teams up on Baseball Reference right now.
I mean, yeah, I think it's a great idea to have, of course, a beaver as your mascot, or I should say, a female and male beaver mascot. But I think that sounds great. That was a great pitch.
And the logging theme's not done yet, as you guys will see over the course of this episode. Don't you worry.
Is it going to be like a full wood stadium?
No, because I'm pretty sure that's illegal. Definitely a fire hazard nonetheless. Okay, any other reaction to any of the 3 proposals? Start with Nick. Do anything, for example?
I forgot about my uniforms, so I'm just gonna add those in.
I'll give you a quick. I'll put the timer on for 1 minute. I'll give you your uniforms. Okay.
Okay.
Starting now.
So I had an idea. We have in the Dominican there's Independence Day. So on that day we're gonna wear special camo uniforms as we are the Independientes. Otherwise, we're gonna have a solid blue for the home and a nice crisp white for the away with I don't know what you call it, the thing that goes down the center of the shirt. it's kind of like a seam along the
Like
buttons.
the buttons. Yeah.
Yeah, kind of a stripe along the buttons. We're gonna have a red one of those in the away shirt, and a nice white cap with the Independientes logo on it. And for the alternate, we're gonna have an all red jersey, so red shirt, red pants. It's gonna be very eye catching if you know what I mean. That's all I've got.
Cool. Matthew, do you want an extra minute to talk about anything here, or do you want to save it for the next sections?
I think we can move on to the next sections
On the
if
next
you
one.
guys would like that.
Yeah, so up next we've got the stadium. We've each come up with an idea for maybe if you have a name for your stadium, then name it if you want. If not, maybe talk a bit about the design, seat colors, design of the stadium, other features, etc. We'll start with Nick again. Nick, whenever you're ready. No time limit for the rest of these rounds, but just let make it 10 minutes. But I mean, but no time limit, but just sort of give us what you got for your stadium.
All right, cool. I was planning to talk about it for 30 minutes, so I'm glad you're allowing me all that time. No. So I looked in the Santo Domingo area, and I wanted it right in the middle of the city, the metropolitan area. So it's easy to get to. You know, you can go to a restaurant, go to a hotel after a game, you know. If you're a tourist, you can catch a game and go right back to the airport if you need to or anything. Um, I found a little area that's kind of a complex of a football or soccer field, whatever you want to call it. Baseball and a few baseball diamonds, and there's an apartment building in it, and I'm gonna tear that down. You know, we don't need that stuff. We have baseball, so and I'm gonna put my stadium in there. It should be enough to fit a Rogers Center size stadium, so I'm expecting about 40,000 people. Of course, it's gonna be called the Pedro Caratini Stadium after the father of Dominican baseball, the GOAT. And I had an idea for a club membership, kind of like we see a lot of in European football, especially in Germany. So I think we're going to go for about 50, 75 bucks a year, maybe 100. We can adjust it for local currency. You get a ball cap, you get, 5% off season tickets, discounts to the team store, all that good stuff. And I think I'm going to save most of this for the marketing, but that's going to be part of our stadium too. Like there's things for membership holders. That's where I plan to get a lot of my marketing and some of my income from. We want a lot of members to the team, which I figure we can get because these people love baseball, and I think to be a member of the team that they're about to love the most, they won't mind spending a little bit of money to help us out and get some cool stuff. Like I said, it should be about a 40,000 seater, and there actually is a parking lot right across the street, which is really good. We can always tear down a few more houses to make more parking if we need to.
As you do.
Yeah, no problem. I'm sure we'll have an easy time getting a permit for that. And our training complex is going to be further up the road. There isn't a lot of room in Santo Domingo's metropolitan area, if that's a surprise. So we're going to build it upstate. There's a lot of open land about a few miles up the road. We're gonna have some kids activities in the stadium, fun things for the little ones. Everyone loves baseball in the Dominican Republic, so we're gonna have a good time for the whole family. Of course, we're gonna have some good food. I was planning on starting an initiative to bring some street vendors in and let them serve their goods there, and we'll let them mark it up a little bit so they can make some money and our fans can get some really good food. That's one thing that I've always hated about going to baseball games is that the food is too expensive and it's not very good. So I want to keep the prices somewhat low and the food really delicious. So people, even if you don't really like baseball that much, you just want an afternoon out, you can come to the ball game and get something nice to eat and drink. And we're going to have the seats all nice and red, white, and blue. And we're going to have a Santo Domingo kind of written in the seats like you see with, again, a lot of European football clubs. We're going to make sure to use the whole space of the little block that we've torn out for ourselves. So we're going to have some fun things outside, some contest giveaways, things like that. We just really want to make it a welcoming environment. And I think that's one of the part of my pitches that I'm most proud of. I think that's a very solid idea, assuming we can get a permit from the city.
Little family baseball.
That's right. That's it.
Anything else you want to add there?
I feel like I'm forgetting something.
You can always circle back to it with marketing if you have anything else.
I thought marketing was a different section.
Well, it will be, yeah.
Okay, then I'll leave the rest of it for marketing.
We can circle back. Yeah. Matthew, any initial reaction?
Yeah, I definitely love that idea. I think
Thank you.
that I think that would be great. Do you want to add anything to that, Ben? Before I, or sorry, do you want to add anything first before I continue?
I saw like the idea of it. I like the having Santo Domingo in the seats. So I've kind of used that idea as well, as I'll get to in about 10 minutes, or whatever. But yeah, I like the idea of the stadium overall.
Thanks.
Yeah, I like the idea of like the sort of like the Junior Jays Sundays now it is.
Yeah,
Sort of going from that.
I didn't take inspiration from that at all.
Okay, Matthew, I guess you're up next. If no one else has anything to add, then go and have it whenever you're ready.
Okay, so for my stadium, I mean, of course, it would be too congested to have it on the Las Vegas Strip. So of course, I have to look around like 5 to 10 minutes out of the downtown Las Vegas area. So I have there's a couple of places like north, south, east, west that that Vegas can look at for implementing a stadium, because there's a lot of land available outside of just the Las Vegas Strip that a baseball stadium can be built. So I don't know if that would be a big issue, but that would be that. In regards to the stadium, I mean, there's no doubt that adults, when they go to Vegas, they want to just gamble, right? Or at least mostly gamble. So I had the idea, of course, having to be approved by Vegas. I've had the idea of implementing a casino area in the stadium. So like a little area where being closed with slot machines, just to kill time. Because I mean, if someone's getting bored, let's say if the game's like 10-0 the away team, and they just get bored, I think that maybe they can just play some they could just play some slots to pass some time. And
I imagine that's going to happen a lot when Santo Domingo comes to town.
I bet. But yeah, that would be something. Also, sort of going off of Nick's colors, because you mentioned red, white, and blue. I was thinking of red and white, the red and white pattern-ish. I think that might be implemented somewhere. I'm not sure, but I think of red and white colors, just representing their logo and their jerseys would be a great color scheme. What else did I forget? I think that's it. I think there's more like for marketing strategies later on, but for now, I think that's it.
Awesome. Any reaction, Nick?
Well, I love the slot machine idea, and I think more stadiums should have those. I think that's an awesome one. How many seats are you gonna have?
Yeah, that's a big one.
I think around like 50K.
Wow.
50K would be a good amount.
Nice.
I mean, like I said, it can't be like I said, it can't be built in the on like close to the Las Vegas Strip because it's all congested. But maybe around like 10 minutes outside, like just to have a bigger stadium would be a great idea, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe the Las Vegas Raiders can go from sharing a bad stadium with the Oakland Athletics to sharing a stadium with the Las Vegas Diamonds.
Yeah, I think they should. I mean,
although nice stadium they're building over there.
Yeah, I was going to just mention quickly the Allegiant Stadium looks very nice. Just a quick mention.
All right, anything else, Nick? Anything else you guys want to add?
No, I think I'm good.
Matthew, anything else you want to add before we move on?
No, I'm good for this part.
I'm ready to hear how Ben's going to incorporate lumber into this one.
Well, here we go, right?
All right, we're back.
So back where we left off, we're just about to go into my stadium. So as I was saying, there's already plans for a stadium in Portland after an agreement between the city and a group including Seattle Seahawks quarterback Russell Wilson, among other well-known investors. They already have a site agreed upon 45-acre site at the Port of Portland, right on the Willamette River, which is a prime location for a ballpark, I think. So I'm not going to use their stadium, but I'm going to sort of build on their site. I'm going to sort of hijack that site. They want a stadium between 32 and 34,000 fans, but I think we can go bigger and aim for 40,000 fans. And this stadium, as Portland is sort of known sometimes for being environmentally awareness and like having good environmental things. I don't know how to word that properly. My stadium will be 100% powered by solar panels and other methods of reusable, sustainable energy. The seats would be made of recycled plastic. I'm not sure we got all that recycled plastic, but we will. They'll be predominantly blue for our team's logo, with other colors, mostly red, white, and black. That will make other designs in the stands, like the name of our team or our logos, like many soccer teams, as Nick mentioned, do, especially in Europe. And also, there isn't currently a lot of great transportation routes to the stadium, or to that site anyway, so the placeholder name... Oh, sorry, no, let's hit the line. So we'd work with the city to improve transportation links to the site and the stadium. More of which I'll get to in a minute when we get to marketing strategies. And the placeholder name that the other group is using is Portland Diamond Ballpark, but I'm going to go with, of course, Beaver Stadium. So yeah, that's my stadium. Any initial reaction to that?
Well, I like it. I like the location. Matt was saying right after you cut out the first time, he liked the location. I do too. Right next to the river. It kind of exemplifies the ballpark kind of thing. Like, it's in nature and it's right on the river. You can feel the breeze and you can look out and see beautiful Portland, grass all around and things like that. I was thinking of a roast, but I can't think of anything. That's a good
Can I just make one slight change? I just thought of this about 3 seconds ago, which might lead to a roast. I'm going to rename the name of my stadium.
Okay.
Oh,
Instead of Beaver Stadium, what we're going to do is we're going to build a giant bridge across the river, and it's going to be called the Beaver Dam. It goes across the river right into the stadium, and so the stadium is now called the Beaver Dam.
I like it even more now.
Yeah.
Any thoughts, Matthew?
Well, I think you're really using the beaver to its advantage. I mean, putting a dam in the stadium sounds cool, but I mean, also like being energy efficient, I guess too, is cool. That you said you were building seats off of can you repeat what you said about the
recycled
seats?
plastic.
Recycled plastic, yeah.
I may or may not have made that up just now as well.
So what Ben's saying is that his seats are going to be garbage, just like his players.
Oh no!
Just kidding. Sorry.
Oh.
Oh, heartbroken.
Much love.
Any other thoughts, guys, before we move on to marketing strategies? Any thoughts on any of the three stadiums?
I'm good.
Matthew?
No, I'm good.
Cool. I think all three stadiums sound pretty interesting.
Yeah.
Definitely places I'd want to go on an away trip to.
Oh yeah.
But the real question is, how are we going to get home fans to come to the stadium? Nice little segue there. Nick, you're up first. So talk about some of your marketing strategies and how you plan to get fans to the stadium.
All right. Well, as I said, if you build it, they will come. Like, this is the Dominican Republic. However, of course, we do have some marketing strategies. So, firstly, we're gonna have an emphasis on Dominican-born players. There's been so many great Dominican players, like Jose Bautista, Blue Jays legend, Edwin Encarnacion, Blue Jays legend. Maybe we can't pick up Jose Bautista. Maybe he wants to be a pitcher now if he's good, I guess. I don't know. It's definitely a spot for him in AAA. So another thing I thought was to have charter buses. The Dominican Republic's a relatively small country, so we could have charter buses coming in from different parts of the Dominican, like Puerto Plata or Punta Cana. One from maybe each province, although there's a lot of provinces. And we can sell these along with game packs. So if you buy like a 3-game pack for the weekend or something, you get a free charter bus, and you can come down to the stadium, and you can have a nice weekend watching your favorite team play. You can also have a little vacation in the country capital. There's lots of stuff to do, and I think we're going to partner with some hotel chains maybe or some restaurants to offer good deals, and then we get some advertising dollars. They get some more business. Win-win for everybody. The fans are happy. Now, the membership, as I mentioned before, this is our big winner.
Excited for this.
Yeah. So if you buy a membership, you're going to get a ball cap every year. You're going to get the whatever home cap we decide, or you can pick online if you want. You can pick our home or away cap, whatever we pick. Like I said, we're going to work with local businesses to offer discounts, especially even more to members of the team. And we'll offer them discounts at the park, discounts for merchandise, food, beverages, etc. We'll have fun things like giveaways, a special news thing that goes out, a special publication that goes out every month. Um, the membership will also
Nick
come with
flexing his journalism degree there.
you know it. Yeah, I'm gonna write those. Anyways, we're gonna offer a discount on the bus rides if you have a membership. So if you show the membership, it's half off. We'll say if it's normally $10, it's only $5 if you want to go to the stadium on the bus, which is especially good if you're a fan but you live far away, like in the western end of the country. I'm also I don't know if this is technically allowed in the MLB, but I'm gonna try something like the 50+1 rule in the Bundesliga. And how it's gonna work is our fans are gonna have a seat on our directors board. So if you're a member, you have one vote, and all the members vote, and they can make up one vote on anything that the board's deciding on. So to fire a president or a GM, when the directors meet. Yeah. No. That's not optional. The fans get one vote. So if we have 11 directors, the fans get to be one director, so 1/12 of the vote. It will have a representative up there to announce their vote every time it meets or something like that. So I think that's a good way to have the fans feel involved with the team, feel a part of the team, like it's part of their community and everything like that. I think if they think they have a say, they think it's more their team. Like I said, we're going for this is the Dominicans team. So we want fans to be able to, be a part of the club truly, even if they're not playing or even if they can't go to games that often. They can still have a say and they can still get some cool stuff. Another thing I was going to do was we're going to have an initiative to build new diamonds and give new equipment to younger teams, like youth teams around the country. And we're gonna have it say Independientes on the jersey and everything. We're gonna have youth teams that maybe from the poorer areas of the country or Santo Domingo, and we're gonna help them out. Grow baseball, even though it's huge there. We're gonna help young kids have the opportunity to grow and play the game and actually fall in love with baseball. Our last thing is we're gonna try to get involved with some of the best Dominican players that have ever played, like Jose Bautista, David Ortiz, Albert Pujols. I have a manager signing that relates to that, but we'll get to that in time. And that's pretty much the whole thing with my marketing strategy. I want that membership to be a big thing, and it'll be a big source of income for the team. I imagine if it's $75 and 1 million people join it, or 500,000 people join it, that's $32.5 to $72 million. That could be the entire payroll if enough people join the team. With that said, that's all I've got. I'd like to see you guys top that. Good luck.
Okay. Before we top that, I have a couple of things to say. The first thing was I really like the idea of the membership thing. I think I'm surprised teams aren't doing that already. Like you mentioned, that could cover the payroll, especially in a country like Canada. Canada get 20 million people buying that. You cover the payroll 10 times over, but more than that probably. But
exactly.
So I do like that. But a couple of things you mentioned there that sort of, I'm not sure how to describe it, but you mentioned AAA.
Yeah.
Where's your AAA and AA, single A teams going to be based? Because how are we going to convince players, like in single A, players are probably making like minimum wage or sometimes probably even less, or around minimum wage to play baseball? How are you going to convince them to go all the way down to the Dominican Republic a couple times a week.
Well, that's the thing. Yeah, like good point. We're first going to have an emphasis on Dominican players, so we hope they don't actually have to travel after being drafted. Secondly, we're gonna hopefully have two A-level teams. So for the lower leagues, we're gonna have two A-level teams, two A-, two A+ teams. Hopefully, some teams do have two of those. I know the Mariners have two A teams. Don't ask me how I know.
How do you know?
Through my Out of the Park baseball series. So I'm going to hopefully have an affiliate in the Dominican and an affiliate in the US, so that until players are ready to make that leap to AA, which has been described as the biggest jump you can make, they can still stay closer to home. They can stay in the US at least. Or if they were born in the Dominican or in Central America or the Caribbean, then they have somewhere closer they can go to and play in the Dominican. And that's my idea. So once players go to AA, we of course can only have one AA team. So then once they have AA, once we've called them up, then they come to the Dominican, and we'll pay for their flight, of course.
And one more thing, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think MLB has, or I don't know if they're allowed to even, to do like an academy structure. I think players have to go through a draft or something most of the time. I'm not so I'm not sure how you could focus on emphasizing on homegrown players unless you just have to convince all the best players to sign for you. Other than that, I don't think there's really a way you can do, unless you get some kind of like dispensation, of course. But
no, the point of that wasn't to like get homegrown talent. I'm not trying to cheat the system. The point was just more like a social initiative, kind of like a corporate responsibility kind of thing.
okay.
So we go out and help the kids of the Dominican Republic. It wasn't intended to be coaching kids to play for the Independientes.
They're pretty successful, probably.
True.
That was allowed.
I'm hoping they want to sign with us in the future.
Matthew, any reaction to Nick's whole marketing proposal there?
Well, yeah, I definitely like the initiative that you were talking about, even with bringing in like lower class kids to get involved in your in developing your team and all that stuff. I think that's another great thing besides the AA affiliate stuff you guys are talking about just right now.
Awesome.
Thanks.
Anything else you want to add, Nick? Or
no, I think that's it.
good. Okay, Matthew, you're up then. What are you gonna do? You kind of mentioned a little bit already, but what are some of your plans to get fans into your Diamond Park, whatever you called it?
Yeah, I mistakenly mentioned that like basically in the first part of this proposal. So I guess I'll just say it again just to recap. But as I mentioned, the stadium's not going to be in the Las Vegas Strip. It's going to be like a 10-minute drive away, or 10 minutes ish. So of course I had the idea of having shuttle buses from each main hotel in the city of Las Vegas in the downtown core to accommodate those people who of course don't want to drive or don't have a rental car or anything if they're traveling from abroad. So I think that's besides of course the regular people, the ones who live close to Las Vegas, I should say, like can drive there, take public transit, but I kind of want to focus on the people that are traveling from abroad outside of Las Vegas. So I think that implementing shuttle buses would be great for fans, and these would be operating 2 hours before, or should I say 2.5 hours before each game, and to around 2 hours after the game, after the final pitch. So I would have buses ready just after the final pitch is done. I also mentioned in the stadium that there would be a casino at a casino part. So to attract more adults, I had the idea of having free slot machine nights, like maybe like once every month, perhaps, just to attract some more fans into the stadium. Of course, like I said, adults when they travel to Vegas, they can't go wrong with going to the casino. So I think that having that would be a great time, a great thing for them. I also mentioned like briefly having promotional games like bobblehead games, hats, T-shirt games, like the regular MLB giveaways. Like for the T-shirts, I would have the logo with the diamond and the background of the Las Vegas Strip, I should say, and of course, the bobbleheads would be one of the main players. Of course, I mean, we're going to mention our players a little bit later, but of course, I would have that as the bobbleheads, and I think that is all I have for now.
Awesome.
But
Nick,
yeah,
any thoughts, Nick?
Now, with Matt's bobblehead idea, I don't have a comment or criticism. I like the idea. Obviously, I like giveaways at baseball games. I just want to comment on how bad the Jays ones have got recently. Like they used to have cool ones, like Matt's talking about, and now they have like stupid country T-shirts. And anyways, yeah, Matt,
those triple ones with the 3 players. Those are pretty cool. A couple years ago.
Have one right on my desk over here.
Yeah, Matthew and I went to a game.
Same here. Yeah,
Matthew and I went to a game last year, and we had it was who was it? I can't remember who it was now, but it was Gurriel Jr. and it was the little pineapple guy.
Yeah,
holding the pineapple. That was a strange one, but that was a cool little bobblehead there.
And we're gonna also, I just want to briefly mention, I want to get the desert theme into these promotional giveaways, so that will be somehow implemented into the giveaways.
All right, I like it.
Awesome.
So let's get Matt on the Jays promotional team.
Sign him up.
Sure.
Awesome. And any other thoughts, guys?
Now let's hear yours, Ben.
Awesome. So I've also gone with the giveaways theme as part of my marketing scheme. So we'll be doing them as well, of course. At least once every home series, there'll be some kind of giveaway, ranging from bobbleheads of our mascots, Bucker and Brandy, or key players, as we'll get to in a minute, as Matthew mentioned. Beaver plush toys, so much more. Whatever else you can think of, we've got it. Between innings as well, several lucky fans will win prizes, such as a bouquet of roses, maybe, play into the City of Roses theme, or Beaver plush toys, because who doesn't want a Beaver plush toy? Mother's Day, every mother in attendance gets a rose. Nice little promotional thing there. Now, going back to the mascots, Bucker and Brandy, there would, of course, be people wearing those costumes, as I kind of mentioned earlier. But for select home games, a couple of times this season, there will be real live beavers in attendance as part of a little zoo area where fans can stop by and take a look.
Nice.
I'm not sure how friendly beavers are, so I don't know if they should get too close to them, but they'll be there. There's a Portland Zoo not very far from our potential stadium site, so they can be housed there. The zookeepers know what they're doing, coming helping us out. Also, fans who show a ticket for that day's game will also receive free public transit on that new route that we're promoting. And any other route as well, like whatever it takes to get you to the stadium. If you have a ticket, you ride for free, and the team will pay for that. And also, to borrow an idea from our fellow Portland team, MLS side Portland Timbers, going back to the whole logging theme, every milestone that a player reaches, they'll be presented with a wooden baseball made from local wood from local loggers, with the milestone, their name, the date they reached it, and the team's logo engraved onto the ball. These will also be done for things like career firsts, every 10 home runs, let's say, every 5 wins from a pitcher, all-stars, game selection, whatever milestones come over the course of a season. They will receive this little wooden baseball to honor that. And for major honors, this is where it gets riveting. For major honors like the MVP trophy or the Cy Young Award, one of those major honors with the big trophies, Silver Slugger, player will be presented at opening day next year with a wooden replica of that trophy, life-size wooden sort of version of it. So I think players will want to come to Portland just for these wooden keepsakes. The best players will want to add these wooden ones to their trophy cases, so they will come to play for the Portland Beavers. And for some giveaway days, of course, fans will also get replicas of these wooden balls or wooden trophies whenever there's some kind of giveaway related to a player, let's say. So yeah, that's my sort of main marketing scheme.
Okay, I have a slight problem with the last thing you said,
Which one is
because
that?
the wooden balls for fans.
Okay.
Because giving a bunch of drunk
Oh, no.
people wooden balls in a baseball game
They can get them on the way out.
Okay, That's probably a better idea.
Tiny detail I forgot to mention there.
Okay, cool. Otherwise, I really like the idea. I especially like the Mother's Day roses and the bouquets. I like that. I really like that idea. I think that's a nice touch.
Matthew, any thoughts?
Yeah, I think having the plush toys also is something great too. But I
Everyone
mean,
gets a Beavers plush toy.
even adults. Well, okay.
You're not allowed to leave the stadium until you bought one.
Okay.
Cool.
Well. Also, I was gonna say, like, because you mentioned you would bring live beavers to the stadium. I mean, I don't know how that would work, but
We'll make it.
I guess if you mention the Portland Zoo's close enough, maybe
exactly.
Maybe
We'll have a
we can
little
get
little
that.
pen area where they can go up and.
I guess. I mean, if the Rays have an outfield like with stingrays, I guess,
they have
I guess that
stingrays.
might work. That's even more dangerous than beavers. So,
exactly.
At least from what I know.
Exactly.
But, yeah.
Exactly. Like stingrays aren't cute and fluffy, right? So I think we've already got the. Nick, be quiet. So yeah, any other thoughts on marketing giveaways, any of those kind of things from any of the three teams?
No, I think I'm good.
Matthew?
No, I'm good too.
Okay, so of course every team not only needs a good foundation off the pitch, as all three of our teams have sort of set up here, I think, they also need good players and teams on the field, of course, as well. So we'll start off with one key position player of any age. If you could sign any player, who would you sign for your team, Nick?
All right. I've put a lot of thought into this, and you're going to be shocked to learn that the player I'm going to sign is from the Dominican Republic.
Whoa.
Yeah, I know, right? I'm going to sign hopefully. I mean, it's probably going to take a lot to get him, but I'm going to take Marcel Ozuna.
Okay.
I forget who he actually plays for now, but
Cardinals, I think.
Yeah, I think so. 2-time All-Star, Gold Glove, Silver Slugger, and he's a career 272 hitter. Big on base percentage. He's just a star. He's solid. He's still pretty young, I think. Still in his 20s. So I think that's an incredible pickup for a team that's just building a foundation. We can definitely build a team around him, as well as my next pickup, which you're going to hear about in a little while. But that's a great foundation, a good guy to have in the middle or the top of the order. And he's Dominican, so keeps with our club philosophy, as one might say. Also, I'd like to mention that I don't know if we're actually doing this, but in the background, you may, at some point in this video, you may see a simulation in Out of the Park where I'm going to do an expansion draft, and we're going to see how each of our teams does with the players we've picked, as well as however our artificial intelligence managers do in the expansion draft.
Yeah, we'll get back to that. We'll get back to that towards the end of the video. We can sort of re-explain that. But yeah, Nick will be trying to simulate this in Out of the Park.
Okay.
With hopefully Marcel Ozuna, if you can, of course, with Marcel Ozuna on this theoretical team. I like the signing. I like the Dominican theme, of course. Not really surprised with that one, maybe, but yeah, it's pretty good signing, I think. Matthew, who have you got for your Las Vegas team? I think I can probably guess yours too.
Well, yeah. First of all, when you think of Vegas, you think there's many big stars that you got a lot of artists that play big concerts in Vegas and all that stuff. So, of course, when you think of Vegas, you need to have big names. So, of course, the biggest name I think undoubtedly anyone can think of is Mike Trout. So, of course, 2-time MVP Mike Trout, I should mention. Should be more than 2. Of course, he's with the LA Angels right now. I mean, undoubtedly, I don't think he has made the postseason in his career. I think once, if I remember correctly. So, I mean, of course, he hasn't showed us in the postseason because he's with the LA.
Didn't he lose a wild card game or something?
I think it was the ALDS, if I remember correctly, like a while ago. But still, I mean, although he hasn't showed us in a playoff series what he's capable of, I think just seeing him play in the regular season, having a high batting percentage every year, and just being one of the best offensive players in baseball is, I think it's undoubtable to choose Mike Trout.
Yeah, I'll admit I'm a little bit surprised with that. I mean, obviously you can't go wrong with Mike Trout, but I thought you might go the Bryce Harper route because he's from Las Vegas as well. So I was a little bit surprised by hearing Mike Trout, but again, you can't go wrong with the best player of this generation for sure.
Yeah, I have looked up Mike Trout. He did play in the 2014 ALDS
Yeah.
against Kansas City. I can report that he batted .083.
Oh no.
Oh. Okay, well, it's going to change when he gets to Vegas, hopefully.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Of
I'm
course.
sure it will.
Yeah. Well,
Okay, so I've gone with another younger star than both of your players, but I've gone with reigning National League MVP Cody Bellinger from the LA Dodgers. He's one of the best young players in the league. If he was 1 year younger, he could be part of this the U23 category as well. So I'm sort of building a little young core here. He won National League Rookie of the Year in 2017, 2019 NL MVP, and he's hit over 100 home runs in 3 seasons, and he won't turn 25 until July. So I think if all goes well, he's a player we can build around for a decade potentially. So I've gone with a little bit younger route, but I think just as good a player as the other 2 players you guys have mentioned.
All right.
yeah.
I like that signing. Yeah, I can't really knock that one. Cody Bellinger's a great player. What position is he, by the way, Ben?
Outfielder.
Outfielder, okay. I'm embarrassingly not up to date that much on baseball, so couldn't remember that one. Matt, do you have anything to say? Any roasts?
Unfortunately, no. No, I don't have anything. I mean, Cody Bellinger is a great player. I think that you definitely made a great choice in picking him.
And then we want to pitchers. If you got any one pitcher in the league, any age, Nick, who'd you go for to sort of start up your rotation?
All right, well, we're going to switch it up and go with a Dominican player. We're going with Luis Severino, 2-time All-Star in his first 2 full seasons. 3.2 ERA, pretty damn good for a starter, I must say.
Yeah.
And in those 2 seasons, he had an average WAR of 4.75. For those that don't know, maybe that are watching, WAR is wins above replacement. Basically says how much better they are than just an average dude. So he got 5 more wins for his team just by being on it. He's superb. He's one of the best pitchers in baseball right now. He's not that old either. I think, I don't know why I keep saying it's bothering me. Anyways, he's going to be a part of our core too. I don't want to go old in every management series, even in real life. I don't like to acquire old players. So I want to go with Luis Severino and Marcell Ozuna. Luis Severino, of course, will also be hard to acquire considering he's young and extremely talented. We're going to make it happen. Our manager, who we'll talk about in a little while, will make it happen.
Yeah, I like the signing or the trade, whatever. I like the acquisition. The only problem I have with Severino is that he's been injury prone the last couple of years. He's had a couple of arm problems, I think. But yeah, overall, I think he's a great player when he's healthy and definitely a perfect player, I think, for the Dominican baseball team to build around for sure.
Thank you.
Any thoughts, Matthew?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, just to say what Ben said. Just besides him being a sort of injury prone, I think that he's still a great pitcher for sure.
Okay.
And who have you chosen for your team, Matthew?
Well, I'm continuing with the big star players. So with this pitcher, I chose somebody who showed that he can pitch on the biggest stage and just showed it last year. I chose Max Scherzer of the Washington Nationals. Sorry, Scherzer. Of course, before he was with the Nationals, he did play with the Tigers. I mean, I think the Tigers should have or could have had a chance to win a World Series with him, especially with a couple of notable other names besides him. I can't remember correctly right now.
Justin
a couple
Verlander.
of players. Exactly, Justin Verlander, yeah. But there's it definitely showed last year in the World Series that he can be clutch in big situations, especially against the cheating Astros, now I should say. But yeah, I think that was a great the choice that I chose was somebody who's shown that he can win, and that's why I chose him.
Yeah, I like it again. It's another good signing. Any thoughts, Nick?
Yeah, he's definitely one of the most dominant pitchers right now. Cool. He has the multicolored eyes going on, so that's
Yeah,
that's just a little cool bonus. It's like getting a little old. I think he's 35, but definitely got a few more good years out of him, and his age means he probably won't cost too much to pick up. So
Yeah.
I think that's a really good signing just to get your team off the ground, have a few successful first few years.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I've gone complete other side of the spectrum with my pick. I've gone with one of the younger pitchers in the league. He was actually a rookie last season. I've gone for 22-year-old starter Mike Soroka from the Atlanta Braves. Perhaps not an unconventional pick. But he had an amazing rookie season last year, finished second in Rookie of the Year voting in the National League, and he was an All-Star. In 29 starts in 2019, he went 13-4 with a 2.68 ERA and 142 strikeouts. He's one of the best pitchers in the National League for sure. And in his only postseason start, he went 7 innings and only allowed 2 hits with no walks. So he's also proven in all the small sample size, he has proven that he can come up big in important games. He's also one of the best young pitchers in the league, and like Cody Bellinger and my U23 pick, who we'll get to in a minute, are sort of pieces we can build around for hopefully a decade if all goes well. And he's also from Calgary, Alberta, nice little Canadian connection there. Hopefully we can build up this Portland Beavers team to have a decade of success.
I'm looking through the stats, seeing if I can knock him in any way on Baseball Reference, but I see nothing. Looks like a fantastic player. Yeah, just a great pickup, and I think our teams on out of the park are going to be a little bit stacked.
Yeah, I definitely do like that you went the Canadian way, I guess I should say, in picking Mike Soroka. But yeah, unfortunately, I can't roast him for that, but that's definitely a great choice.
Yeah. So as I've seen my first couple picks, I've gone pretty young. Both my players are 24 and under. But for our next pick, for each of our 3 teams, we're going to go for a player who's 23 years of age or younger. So Nick, you want to start us off?
All right. Well, guys, I want to just ask you, what nationality do you think the player I'm about to pick is?
Venezuela.
It's a tough one.
That's incorrect, Ben. It's Dominican. I'm going with Juan Soto of the Washington Nationals.
Yeah, that's a good one.
one of the best young pitchers in baseball. 9th in MVP voting last year in the National League. 2nd in Rookie of the Year voting in his first year. In his first 2 years, his OPS plus has averaged to 140, so he's 40% better than a regular batter. That's pretty incredible. He's just putting up incredible numbers all across the board. He might be MVP one day, and he's only in his first 2 years. 9th in MVP voting in his 2nd year in the league. I think he's only 21, if I'm not mistaken. And his WAR across his first 2 seasons, wins above replacement, is 4.6. That was his first season, which is just about all-star level. If you couldn't tell, I like stats, but yeah, Juan Soto, just perfect for this team.
If I'm not mistaken, he turned 21 last year, like a couple of days before the Washington Nationals won the World Series. He was like just old enough to drink champagne to celebrate with that team. And I almost picked him for my team as well. So that's a very, very good pickup for you. And of course, keeping the Dominican theme as well.
Thank you.
Anything, Matthew?
No, that's definitely a great pick for sure.
And who have you gone with?
Well, I just want to clarify. We definitely didn't ask each other which players we picked, because I don't know if me and Nick definitely didn't ask each other who we chose, but I also did choose Juan Soto.
Oh no!
I don't know how that would work. How we're gonna fight for him, but rock paper scissors.
Bidding war.
Yeah, undoubtedly Juan Soto is one of the best. Well, I think he's in it. This would be his 2nd year if I'm not wrong.
3rd year coming up.
Yeah, third year. But definitely he's definitely one of the best young players out there. And of course, as I mentioned with Max Scherzer, he can come in clutch in big situations, especially in the World Series last season against the Astros.
Yeah, I dig it. Any thoughts, Nick, of Matthew trying to poach your player?
Well, I'm gonna have to fight him.
Yeah,
but maybe a social distance fight. We're gonna use a boxing glove on a big stick or something.
Water guns.
That sounds cool.
That's a good one. No other thoughts. Great pick.
Yeah, I agree. I'm kind of glad I almost went with him. I'm kind of glad I didn't now. It would have been a clean sweep. But
Imagine.
yeah, when Nick asked what nationality player we thought he might have, I said Venezuelan because the player I chose is Venezuelan. I've gone with 22-year-old, another 22-year-old on the Atlanta Braves, Ronald Acuna Jr. He's one of the best young players in MLB, one of the best players alone, like in MLB for any age. So I think for me it has to be him. In his first 2 seasons, he's been an All-Star. He's won Rookie of the Year. He won the Silver Slugger Award last year. He led the league in stolen bases, and he finished 5th in 2019 for the NL MVP, and I think was 12th in his rookie season as well in MVP voting. So he's one of the best players in the league, one of my favorites to watch, and hopefully will be for years to come with the Portland Beavers.
I embarrassingly don't have that much knowledge of the player himself.
No, he's better than both of your players. Or well, it's the same player, but
We got the same one.
I don't know about that.
Well, yeah, I do. I mean, I do like that you chose Ronald Acuna. Actually, that was going to be my my second under 23 player. So either way, it probably would have been repeated in between me and Nick, or me or you, Ben. So.
And there's a lot of under 23 players on our local Toronto Blue Jays as well, of course, that were up for grabs.
Yes.
I'm kind of surprised Nick almost didn't go with Vladimir Guerrero Jr., although Juan Soto is a better player, of course. Nick is very shocked right now.
Definitely should have picked him.
Okay, so
Can I change my answer?
If you want to.
No. I'll go with the Vladimir Guerrero for the sim, but for this I picked Juan Soto.
Yeah, so there's also Bo Bichette, of course, as well on the Toronto Blue Jays. If any non-Dominican teams wants to look at Bo Bichette, and of course, with a lot of players, of course, you need someone to lead them in the form of a manager. And I know I can probably guess the nationality of Nick's manager, partly because he's also already mentioned that his manager is from the country of his choosing. So Nick, why don't you tell us who you've gone with?
Now, this guy, I can't be sure that he's actually going to manage for us. He did turn down a job with the Pirates last year.
Oh.
He's Moises Alou, another one of the best Dominican players ever. He was a All-Star many times over back in the 90s, I think. However, he does have managerial experience. He is the general manager of the Dominican Republic team that have won several accolades since he took charge, including the World Baseball Classic most recently. And he did manage, apparently, or he does manage, he is the GM of, the Leones del Escogido, which are one of the Dominican Republic Professional League's most successful teams. And he's had success with them. So this guy's won the World Baseball Classic, so technically he's the best manager in the world. That's definitely what that means. And he's had some experience managing club baseball. I'm sure he'll be very happy to manage in his home country. However, I saw an interview 6 years ago, that said he wanted to enjoy the finer things in life before a return to baseball. So hopefully he's had some time to enjoy those things, and he's ready to manage for the Santo Domingo Independientes.
I like it. That's a very good. As you mentioned, he's already doing some stuff in the Dominican Republic. So hopefully for you, he wishes to sort of continue his stay down there.
I was actually considering his father, Philippe Alou, but he is in his 90s, I think, and he is finished managing. So I went with the next best option, which is Moises.
Matthew, any thoughts on that one?
I think it's definitely great that you still went the same country, or same background player or manager, I should say. I mean, I don't know his managerial stats right now, but I think that would be a great pick.
It's surprisingly hard to find his stats as the general manager of the Leones, but I have faith that he can do a good job.
All right, Matthew, who have you chosen for your manager?
Well, of course, with all the with the three big names I mentioned, I need a manager that can bring some winning. I can't think of the phrase right now, but some winning to the franchise. And although this manager is probably known for choking in big moments, I mean, like he hasn't won a World Series in his couple of years as a manager. I went with Dave Roberts of the LA Dodgers. He has two NL pennants with the Dodgers, and of course hasn't won a World Series, as I mentioned, losing to the Astros in 2017 and the Red Sox in 2018. But I think that for him, even like winning, having 2 seasons of 100 plus wins and close to like 90, all four of his seasons with the Dodgers having 90 plus wins every season is definitely something that can bring a winning pedigree to Vegas.
I like it.
And was it Ben or Matt who took Cody Bellinger?
That was me.
Ben.
Okay, I was gonna say then you have that connection, but no, Ben's taking it.
I mean, maybe
No.
I'll take it for my team instead. Not that I haven't gone with them. Any final thoughts, Nick, on Matthews?
No, I like the pickup. I'm sure if you put enough talent around him, he'll get there. I'm sure it's not his fault. At least completely his fault that they didn't win the
Kershaw's fault.
Sure, Clayton Kershaw.
Yeah, Kershaw. I should say Kershaw. Yeah.
So no, yeah, I like the pickup, and I'm sure he'll get you that World Series. Not while the Independientes are in it though. All right, Ben, let's hear from you.
So I very nearly went with a Dominican player, possibly former player. I also went with Jose Bautista. Almost. So I think he's going to be a great manager one day. I thought maybe his first stab at a top managerial job could be with the Portland Beavers. But instead, I've gone with someone else, probably the most entertaining manager over the last few years. Has been out of the game for a couple of years now, but I've gone with John Gibbons, Blue Jays managerial legend. There's never a dull moment when he's involved. And his win percentage is over 500, of course, as well. So that's always a big bonus. Despite managing some very, very mediocre Jays teams over the last, I think, 11 seasons he had in Toronto. I mean, he managed some pretty bad teams, so having a record over 500 is pretty impressive, I think. He also ended the team's lengthy playoff drought, and sort of turned the franchise around a bit. Sort of the bridge between the old Jays and the current, hopefully, successful Jays. I'm not sure if he's the person you want to start a franchise with from scratch. Sort of have like as your first guy to sort of create team culture necessarily, but he's a personal favorite, so why not, really?
All right, I like it. If you want to get fans into it, if you want to give them some entertainment, Gibby's the guy. You can always count on him to stick up for a player. I'm sure they'll love him.
Yeah, same thing sort of applies to former Yankees manager Joe Girardi, who I also went with. He's also a free agent. He's known for getting thrown out of games, so I almost went with him for the entertainment factor as well, but I had to go with Gibby.
Matt, what do you think?
Yeah, I think that bringing in John Gibbons as a manager would bring a great personality to your franchise. I mean, even I can only imagine him like during post-game interviews with the Portland Beavers, just like lying in his office as he usually does during his post-game interviews.
Feet up on the desk.
Exactly. Yeah. I can only imagine that, like just with his Beavers hat on.
Love it.
Exactly. He's very good managing teams with Canadian likenesses. So Blue Jays and Beavers. So why not?
All right.
So before we wrap this up, do you want to just kind of quickly go over again your team name, team stadium, and all the players, managers that you signed, I guess? Just sort of recap overall. I'm going to start with Nick, I guess.
Sure. So we are the Santo Domingo Independientes playing in Santo Domingo of the Dominican Republic. Our stadium is going to be right near kind of the river, the coastline of Santo Domingo, in the middle of the metropolitan area. And we're going to have hotel deals, things like that all around, so people can have a nice day out in Santo Domingo, catch a ball game. The players did I miss a thing? Oh, yeah, our mascot's going to be based off of Juan Pedro Caratini. No, Pedro Miguel Caratini. Apologies to the GOAT. That's basically our stadium logo. Red, white, and blue, of course. Red for the home, white for the away. Our key players are Marcel Ozuna for our key position player. Our key pitcher is Luis Severino. And our key U23 player is the amazingly talented Juan Soto, who Matthew cannot have.
We'll see about that, but okay.
And manager?
Oh, yeah. Sorry, my manager hopefully will be Moises Alou.
Awesome, good stuff. Matthew, you want to quickly run over your team as well?
Yeah, so of course I chose Las Vegas, and my team is going to be the Las Vegas Diamonds. The stadium is going to be outside of the Las Vegas Strip area, just around 10 minutes, just around 10 minutes outside of the downtown Las Vegas area. Of course, as I mentioned, there's going to be promotional games with bobbleheads, hats, and T-shirts. I also mentioned that the seat colors in the stadium are going to be a pattern of red and white. And also, I also mentioned that I wanted to have shuttle buses operating before and after games, 2 hours for both, operating to the main hotels, or if not all hotels in Las Vegas, to accommodate people who can't drive there, or I don't know if there's public transit in the area, or who don't have a chance to get there. And also, I mentioned that I want to have a casino, if approved by Vegas, in the ballpark for adults that, let's say, if the team's losing 10-0 and they're getting bored, they can just go and just kill some time on the slots. And in regards to the players, as we were just talking about, my key position player is Mike Trout, 2-time MVP Mike Trout, I should say. Mike, yeah. Just try to bring that winning pedigree to Vegas. The pitcher I chose was Max Scherzer. The
I'll focus on getting that right before he comes to town.
I know, yeah. Yeah, I have to make sure the announcer says it properly before games. But
official unveiling.
Yeah, exactly. The under 23 player that I chose was Juan Soto, as the same as Nick. And then the manager that I chose was Dave Roberts, who currently manages the LA Dodgers.
Awesome.
All right.
Quickly recap my team. We are the Portland Beavers in Portland, Oregon. Our stadium is going to be on the Port of Portland, right at the Willamette River. Prime location for a ballpark, of course. And it'll be called the Beaver Dam. Can't forget about our lovely mascots, Bucker and Brandy. Everyone gets a plush beaver if they want one. So our marketing strategies would be giving away beaver plush toys, giving away roses for all the mothers in attendance for Mother's Day was our main thing with the roses, and of course the little petting zoo or viewing zoo with the live beavers. The wooden baseballs, can't forget those, and the wooden trophies. Every player's going to want one of those, of course. And some of my key figures, I guess, are my key player is going to be reigning National League MVP Cody Bellinger from the LA Dodgers. My key pitcher is going to be 22-year-old Mike Soroka from the Atlanta Braves. And another 22-year-old from the Atlanta Braves, as my under-23 player, is going to be outfielder Ronald Acuna Jr. And managing them would be John Gibbons.
Nice.
Awesome. I think that's pretty much it for this. But before we end this off, Nick, do you want to quickly run us through Out of the Park and how we're going to sort of do that simulation?
Yeah, so Out of the Park has tons of different options for starting a league, so which includes an expansion draft, luckily enough. So I'm going to add – it doesn't let you add 3 teams, so I'm going to have to add an extra dummy team. And then we're going to have an expansion draft, and we're going to let the artificial intelligence general managers pick whoever they want to pick. And then I'm going to move over our specifically selected players. I'm going to take Vladimir Guerrero, and I'm going to let Matt have Juan Soto.
What a nice guy.
Yeah, I know, right? And then, I don't know, how do you guys want to do it? Do you guys want to do one season, or do you want me to sim it until one of us wins the World Series?
I think
World Series, maybe?
Until one wins the World Series. I like that idea. Yeah.
All right. And
And
hopefully,
whoever does that is the winner of this challenge.
yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I'm going to keep everything as equal as possible, and then I'm going to change the ballpark temperatures and everything to. I'm going to customize it as much as possible while keeping it as fair as possible.
Awesome.
Nice.
And then when that's all done, we'll add that to the end of this sort of talk show recording video podcast thing, which you'll see pretty much as soon as you stop seeing our faces. And yeah, so I think that's all we have for this first episode of Starting from Scratch. Any final thoughts, guys?
Had a lot of fun. Thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah, thanks to Nick for joining
Thank
us.
you. Thank you, Nick.
Happy to be here. Go Independientes.
Yeah, and we'll hopefully have you on a future episode, perhaps an NFL episode at some point.
Oh, sounds good.
Awesome. So I hope you enjoyed this episode. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, of course. And so for Matthew, Liam Bruni, and Nick Barnsdale, I'm Benedict Rhodes, and thanks for watching.
Unfortunately for the Las Vegas Diamonds, they found themselves being close to and even at the bottom of the NL West division for many seasons. Although the team had many losing seasons, they did have 5 seasons in which they made the playoffs, including one year where they were beat by Santo Domingo. Mike Trout, the star player on the Diamonds, had his number retired by the team in 2029, ending up as the franchise's leader in many categories, one being number of games played. Under 23 player pick Juan Soto also found himself close to the top in many categories.
The Portland Beavers had the best winning percentage of the 3 teams, and throughout the entire of the franchise history, we were the only one of the 3 to finish above 500. We also made the playoffs 9 times, more than the other 2 teams did. And we also, at one point, came very close to winning the World Series, losing in Game 7 one year.
So as you've seen by now, the Independientes have won the World Series. We won it in, well, it's a bit disappointing, but 2038. It says I get a bonus 30 seconds to brag about it, so damn right I will. We were actually the first team to make it to the World Series, only a few years after the sim started, but we got swept by, I think, the Astros, and that was kind of disappointing because I was watching it, and I knew I was going to get swept immediately after looking at their team, but yep, our team won it. The selections I made didn't really matter, so it was just kind of luck, but oh well. We beat the Diamonds in the playoffs one year, which was pretty sweet. I think we won 3-2 in the ALDS. Overall, we were 16 games under 500, but we got that pennant, we got that ring, so the rest don't mean a thing. And over the course of our franchise, we made the playoffs 6 times, so I'd say, pretty successful in 18 years.
That concludes the first episode of our new expansion series. Don't forget to follow us on all of our social media platforms, and also don't forget to subscribe for more videos like these. From me, Benedict, and our guest Nick, thank you all for watching, and we'll see you next time.